Hey, this is Monotrox with Digital Empire Development. Today we're going to be starting a 5-part blender tutorial series on how to make this glass of whiskey. So this first video is just going to be a basic introduction. Think of it as a table of contents. I'm going to be going over what's in the videos to come, in addition to some user preferences to set up at the very beginning so that you can follow along step by step with everything that I do on this screen. So the first thing you want to do is just go up here to File, go to User Preferences, make sure you're under Add-ons, select Official and Community, and make sure you're under the category All. What we want to do is first enable this 3D View 3D Navigation add-on. If you don't see it for whatever reason, just type in 3D Nav here, and it should pop up there. The next thing you want to do is enable the Pie menus, so type in Pie in the search bar, enable this 3D Viewport Pie menus, and UI Pie menu Official. Next thing is type Loop, and enable this Mesh Loop Tools, then click Save User Settings and X out of this menu. From there, I'm just going to go over some basic navigation techniques. First and foremost, anything that I do is going to display in the bottom left here. If I click on something or do whatever or press a button, it's going to show up in the bottom left of the screen here. So if you ever get lost, just look down there. You should be able to catch up. In order to move the camera around, you just hold the middle mouse button and drag around. If you want to pan the camera, just hold Shift and the middle mouse button and you'll pan it. If you want to select an object, you just use right click. If you want to switch between object and edit mode, hold Tab. This is one of the things that we enabled in the user preferences here. This is one of the Pie menus. So just hold Tab, drag to the left for object mode, right for edit mode. We'll also be using sculpt mode in the middle of this, but we're not going to talk about that now. If you want to switch between solid and wireframe mode for seeing through objects, you just hold Z and drag in the direction of the thing that you want. We're just going to be using solid and wireframe mode for this tutorial. But you can select all these other ones as well. Beyond that, you also have this new display menu. What this lets you do is line up your camera to different views. So it can be a little bit easier to line things up and see what you're doing this way. Like if you align it straight to the right, we can see a flat view here. In addition to that, there's this button here, which switches between perspective and orthographic view. We're not really going to mess with that much. We just want to be in orthographic view this entire time, which is this sort of more flat view here. If you're ever editing something for whatever reason and you want to cancel it, just right-click and it'll cancel that out. Beyond that, going into video 2, we're going to be starting off with making the basic shape of this glass. It's not going to be anything complicated. It'll pretty much just be a cylinder with a hole in it. Video 3, we're going to be adding a little bit more detail, adding all these little edges on the side here, using the loop cut tool and the individual face extrude tool. Then in the 4th video, we're going to be using some sculpting and brushing techniques in order to make some ice cubes. Ultimately, they're not going to be realistic looking ice cubes, they're just going to be deformed cubes. And the reason for that is I really just want to get you to use the sculpting tools. We're not really trying to make something super realistic. And then in the 5th video, we're going to use a fluid simulation to make this little whiskey pour here. Keep in mind, we're not going to use a very high resolution fluid simulation, so it's not going to look even quite this good. But it should still get the desired effect. We should still see liquid in the glass, and we should still come up with a pretty good render at the very end. So with that, that's the end of the first video. So I'll see you in the next video when we start making the glass.